welcome back to my channel, and in this video I will be going through my entire miscellaneous binder, which holds all of my different groups like Infinite, Astro, SF9, and a.c.e, including some other groups I don't really collect but have photo cards for. As you can tell, I actually don't know how large this binder is. I'm assuming it's either 1.5 inches or 2 inches, but it's pretty full for the most part. If it's not housing photo cards for other groups, I usually put some of my big inclusions for other groups in here too. I do know that I have a bunch of SF9 postcards in here as well. For my cover, I had a bunch of extra a.c.e albums that I purchased through a geo. And I wasn't able to sell them because I was trying to keep the photo cards for that, so I decided to rip them up and create this little collage and include some of these sticker freebies that I got from Stray Kids, some other sticker freebies, and this Dow1 freebie, this SF9 Dow1 freebie that I received from a trade. And I actually received this freebie before I even started standing SF9, and I remember asking a K-pop server that I was in who it was on that sticker. And lo and behold, a couple months later, I'll be doing a fan call with him. So I don't remember who the original trader was, but if I do ever interact with them, or if I do ever figure it out, I honestly would love to just thank them for getting me into SF9, for giving me that final push to check out their variety and get into them as more than just artists and musicians. So opening up on my first page, I have my Infinite Woohyun collection. He is my alt bias. He has been my alt bias for a long time. That's an indisputable fact. That's not going to change anytime soon. But I don't really collect him too heavily because looking for their older photo cards is kind of annoying and tedious. And they did have a few releases that didn't even come with photo cards, like their 2012 album Infinitize, with a title track, The Chaser. So I usually only buy albums if they come with a photo card, so I don't even have most of their albums. Here I have some of his photo cards from his latest solo work. I don't remember the title track or the album name right now, but these two are the pre-order benefits, so they're basically the same for each album. And these three are the album cards. I didn't join any geos for this. I ordered it directly myself. And I have these two little red dragon shield things as placements, or as little placeholder. I'm not too interested in collecting this album because the red hair, it's alright for me. It's not bad. It's not my favorite look, but there are a lot of these photo cards in the market right now. So if I ever do feel tired, I might pick up some extra ones. But that's not a goal. Here is my Seungyu photo card collection. He came out with another album recently too, in the past couple of months, in 2022 at least. These three down here are placeholders. These two are different types of placeholders. I joined another geo, and I'll be getting one more album photo card and one more pub. So this is where those photo cards will be going. These two up here are really cute. Let me open this up. It's a little flower. I think one's a Make Star pre-order benefit and one is just an album card. I haven't looked at his album photo card templates yet, so I don't know if I'm actually specifically going to be going for another type of album PC. I'm not too picky. This is my Infinite Reality photo card collection. This is Dongwoo's solo album, and this is a sticker from one of Seungyu's solo albums as well. This is actually my first completed photo card set that I completed. I was collecting most of these in 2015, but I picked up this photo card, I think last year, 2021. So this has probably been my longest ongoing collection. It took me forever to find this photo card for some reason. I know Myungsu is the most popular member, but this is a pretty old album, all things considering. So I was surprised that people were still holding on to it. Taking this out. Here is where I continue the rest of my reality real date cards. If you don't know what these are actually a pretty interesting card where every album came with one, every album purchase came with one, and you can fill it out and send it into Woolum, which was Infinite's company back then. And they basically did like it's almost like a fan sign lottery where if they pick out your real date card, you actually did get to go on an actual physical date with one of the members, which I thought was pretty funny. There were only 7 winners, so a lot of those, so there weren't a lot of fan accounts for what happened, but from what I remember, people said that Dongwoo is exactly like the way he is in person, or the way he comes off in reality, which is super fun, super open, and almost a little silly. And the person who had it was Sungyu said that it was kind of awkward, but I find that awkwardness almost a little endearing. And then these larger cards down here are part of their 5th Inspirit fan club kit. I don't buy fan club kits because they don't really benefit me as an international fan, but I did buy this set off of someone online. For pretty cheap, I would say, too. Here I have some of their other miscellaneous large inclusions. And this was their photo card for Be Back, which is not a photo card, it's a whole ass postcard. But I appreciate it, it's a nice material, but you can tell that it gets scratched pretty easily. And here are some more of Sungyu's inclusions from his latest mini album. I might just use these sticker sheets because I think each sticker sheet is the same. Starting from this side, we have SF9's first collection postcards. In terms of collecting inclusions, I actually really do like postcards. I don't know why. I think subconsciously I know that they're more expensive to produce than regular photo cards, so I just appreciate them a lot more. And plus, I think they look nice depending on how you actually put them together into your binder. I do have a separate SF9 binder, but it doesn't have any sleeves that can fit large inclusions like this, so this goes into my main binder. This album for SF9 is their 2020 first collection, which is their first full album. And these black and white postcards here are from their black rated version, which is I think it's a black box album. But these postcards here are from their golden rated one, which comes with a white box. I don't really like the styling for golden rated as much. I think the hair leaves a little something to be desired. But it is a really great album in terms of music. Like, even when I wasn't actively listening to K-pop then, and when I wouldn't consider myself a K-pop fan who was into fandom, and all the other associated likes with K-pop, it still ended up being one of my top 50 songs played of all year. So I think there were maybe 12. It's a full album, so there were definitely more songs. And yeah, all 12 of those songs ended up on my top 50 played songs of 2020. Here are my Rumination large inclusions. Dawon and Roon are my biases, so I did want to complete them, but I never pulled the little red logo cards. And they're a little hard to store because they're so bulky. These blue hollow cards I do want to collect because this is the album version that Dawon signed for my fansign album. But no one's trading those either because they're annoying to ship. They don't fit in a top loader. And so you'd have to custom cut cardboard out for it. I'm collecting the yellow ones just because I did manage to pull, how many is this? I managed to pull 7 out of the 9. So it's just a matter of getting the last 2, and I don't want to buy them because there's no resale value, so I'm still trying to see if anyone's willing to trade. Here are their 2022 Seasons Greetings posters. Or postcards. I do really like how colorful they are. Someone bought the Seasons Greetings for me, and I told them that I really liked it just because of how colorful they are. Here are some more inclusions that came with the Seasons Greetings. These tickets up here are member specific, and I managed to pull down ones, which I'm really happy about. I didn't really see anyone trading those either. But here we're getting to my Golden Child. Oh, I don't think I mentioned them in my intro. Well, I also do have some Golden Child items in here. These are a gift from my friend when I was first getting into Golcha. She sent me these. I didn't have any Golcha merch, and she sent me and basically kickstarted off my entire collection, which I'm really thankful for. Another friend also sent me this Wish photo book of Tag, who's my bias. He's so pretty in here. They're kind of weird to store, but I think these 2 pocket pages are good enough. Here we start with my Astro collection. For the longest time, the only other group that contended for Infinite's spot as my ults was Astro, and my biases are Jinjin and Unu. But I do admit that within the last couple of years, I have been losing interest, just because their music isn't really going in the direction that I'm too interested in. These 2 I pulled when I bought their signed albums from N-Wave, which took a long time to get me, but not nearly as long as their All Yours photocards. These 2 I traded for. This was a gift from a friend. These 2 were from GOs from my friend who runs Astro Goes. And then here is my coveted Unu collection. My biggest mistake as a trader was selling my entire and full album photocard collection from Unu back in 2017. So basically back before he actually blew up as being, one of the most popular K-pop idols there are out there. So I sold off his entire collection for really cheap too, because there wasn't such a thing as member pricing back then, and there were so few cards on the market that there was a pretty even distribution of people who stand them. So I think I sold each of these photocards or each of these, because these are older, for maybe $7, when these can probably get you 12 to 15. This can probably get you more, depending on their condition. This I traded for, so I'm glad that that person was very generous and willing to trade with me. And this I pulled in their signed Dream Part 1 album from N-Wave. Those are randomly given, and they're printed Polaroid, so they're not that special, but it was a limited perk, only included in a couple purchases. Here is my second full page. These 2 are my favorite photo cards. I love the heart cheek pose. These 2 are pre-order benefits, and this one of my personal non-K-pop friends bought me an album for my birthday, and I managed to pull this one through him, which I'm very thankful for. Here are my 2 additional Astro pages, so I actually do have a pretty expansive collection in my opinion. I don't collect all the photo cards, as you can see, from every era, but these 2 I joined a GO. Is one a pre-order benefit? Yeah, I think these 2 are pre-order benefits. And these two I traded for. I think this one too. And this one. This is one of my favorite photo cards because it almost looks like he's giving you the middle finger. So if I ever do want to downsize, I'm keeping this card just for the fact that it's memeable. And these are all my photo cards. These 5 up here, the Uno one is back on his page. These came with one of their Make Star photo book projects. I forgot which one, but it is one of my favorite purchases that I've ever made regarding Astro and probably regarding my entire collection. It's over 140 pages, bigger than A4 size, and it's just a really beautiful, lovingly made photo book, and they go for pretty expensive right now because of how old and limited print they were. But it's one of those items that I'm probably not going to be selling, even if I do drop Astro completely. Like that's going to stay. This is my a.c.e collection. I collect Jun from a.c.e. He's currently enlisted right now, so I'm not going to hear news from him for a while. But I basically joined a bunch of I think I joined maybe 2 for Siren Dawn. And then I joined 1 GO for for changer. And then these three down here are merch cards. He's definitely one of the most handsome idols that I've ever seen. I've never done a fan sign, I've never seen him in person, but I just think he is so attractive. This is by far one of my favorite photo cards. This is also pretty rare because it's from one of their older albums too, but he looks so good here. He knows what he's doing with that pose. And then I love this Make Star Hollow down here. That little mark is on my sleeve itself and not on his face. Yep, sleeve itself. And these two are freebies that I got in a trade with someone, but I'm keeping them because they're real Polaroids. And the person who gave me these honestly chose some of the best June pics out there. And this is my miscellaneous page. So I used to be really into BTS a couple years back, so I collected Jungkook and have since sold my collection of his aside from a couple of albums. This I pulled. These two Jungwon and Hypen PCs I got in a trade where I was trying to get rid of my Pentagon albums. So I don't stand in Hypen. I actually don't know how you pronounce it. I don't stand them, but I did want to get rid of my cards, or my albums. And they were willing to trade an album to 2 photo cards, and considering that shipping was only like $3, I think that's a pretty fair trade. I don't know what the collecting community is like for them, so I don't know if that's decent, but I'm not gonna look too into it. This is Yuji from Bestie. She was from one of the only girl groups I stand back in the day. They've since then disbanded, and I don't really follow their individual schedules now. But I think she's doing a lot of musical acting, which is really good for her. These two were gifts from 2 different friends, and I didn't write that down. I gotta add my sticky note and say that these two are gifts. But this is from someone who just couldn't trade him away, and this is from someone who I did a geo for. And I'm so surprised to find out that he is not one of the most popular members. This is Vernon from 17, and I think he is so good looking. I think I stand them for maybe their first 2 eras when they came out, but then I just couldn't pick a bias, so I never really decided to follow up with them after. But I have like a self-imposed rule that I can't get into groups that are younger than maybe 4 or 5 years old, because I think until then they're also a little awkward on camera, so you don't really get their full personality that comes out. And then this is Wenhan from Unique? I don't know, but this is from their album EO, and I have a signed version of it, and they were the group for me back then. I love them so much. He's from the same group as Seungyoon or Woods and Wang Yibo, who plays in The Untamed. So out of the 5 people in that group, I'm glad 2 of them managed to make it out. I do think that they still technically exist as a group. They haven't disbanded or anything, and the Instagram and the Twitter still updates for their birthdays, but they don't really talk about any of their individual schedules. So I've been looking for their signed album for literally years, and I managed to buy it back in 2019, and that was like the first K-pop purchase that I've made in a while. And it was a little more expensive than I was willing to pay, but given how big Woods and Yibo blew up in the years coming after, like I think that amount will only appreciate, but I'm still not gonna sell it, even though I don't follow them. It's more of a sentimental purchase for me at this point, because I was looking for it for literally years and happened to snag it as soon as I saw one. So I am actually gonna put these 2 away. These are star cards. If you look down here, you see that they have individual numbers, and I think these are technically just like a merch item. These don't come with photo cards, or these don't come with albums or anything like that. So I'm gonna put them here because these are also a gift from a friend who got me into Gulcha, a different friend. And we're both really into Infinite, so I think she probably just had these extra cards. And now this entire page is not as read anymore. I need to start downsizing. I will be moving soon to a different state, which really limits the amount of stuff that I can bring with me. So even though I haven't fully decided what I want to sell off, I do know that some collections need to go. I wanted to see if I can consolidate most of my albums, or most of my photocards, into one or two binders. One or two of these large ones, or maybe those small collect books. But I am probably going to give up some of my Astro photocards. I know selling these is going to be a bit of a hassle because they have so many fans and so many people already have these cards from them. But I do think that I can... Hold on. Better. I do think that I should be able to get sellers or buyers who are interested in these. I kind of feel weird collecting them because I actually don't really follow any of their activities anymore. And it's none of their faults or anything. They're still funny. They're still like the same people who I got into for the most part. It's just I don't have time. And their variety is still really funny. It's just their music really isn't all of that to me anymore. So right now I'm just pulling out the album PCs or the POBs that I may not be interested in keeping. I know these Unu PCs are gonna sell. These Jinjin ones may not because he's a little lower on everyone's bias ranking. So I don't want to be that person who member prices. Like, I don't care if other people member price for the most part. It's like, you do what you want with your collection. If people want to buy it, they'll buy it. Like, that is 100% on them. That is their decision. I don't understand why people have to send hate to people who member price. Like, it is a marketing thing. It's economics. I know people say that there is no supply and demand in K-pop, but there is. Even though the supply is mostly controlled by the companies, the supply is also controlled by the amount of people who have Unu in their collections who refuse to sell them off. Therefore, the supply is slightly lesser because a lot of people are keeping them, and the demand is high because more people want to collect him. So, there is supply and demand in K-pop. People just don't want to talk about it. I don't think it's unreasonable to want to price something higher because people want it a little more. I try not to member price just because I don't want people to hate on me. But I understand why people do it, and it's pretty logical for the most part. This was a good album. This was Refuge, which was their second mini album. This was Moonbin and Sanha's second mini. Really good music. I loved their first one, so their first one was In and Out. I actually don't have that album. Maybe I can see if I can try to trade with someone who has it and would like to have their Refuge one instead. I don't really have a rhyme or reason as to which photo cards I'm pulling out. I know eventually I do want to try to consolidate everything onto a few pages. I don't know how good they'll look though. It's a pre-order benefit. So these three down here are album photo cards. I can probably get rid of... I can probably sell this one and feel okay. And then June, I know I should probably downsize on him. I do have almost 3 full pages of him. I want to see if I can get down to 2 pages. But I know that the collecting community for Ace is a little quiet right now just because they're not coming out with any more merch. And because they're not going to be active for a while because Chan, who's the youngest member, just announced his enlistment for August. So he will be going and all the other 4 members are there already. So we don't know what their future is honestly going to be like because they're not the biggest group. They've been doing okay for themselves, but I wouldn't even say that they're solidly mid-tier. I'll say maybe a little lower than mid-tier. I know quite a few of their members have moved out of the company dorms and either moved back home or moved in with each other. So I don't know if that's like a foreboding sign or whatever. or if it's good that they're given more autonomy over what they can do. These lenties I do like, and I think I'm just going to keep them even though they're practically worthless. Not a lot of people like their lenties for some reason, so I see people selling them for $1, and if it's so low, it's really not worth the amount of time and effort that I'm going to spend packing it. This POV I can probably get rid of. I'm mostly just trying to get rid of PCs based off of aesthetic and not over vibe, or not over like value or how long it took me to actually collect them, which is really hard because you do attach a lot of emotional value to these photo cards. The group order manager I use for Ace is amazing. She pulled me this entire like June set. She pulled me everything except from this because I think each album purchase only came with 2 Polaroids. So she was awesome for managing to get me everyone like that. Okay. So on. I really like holo photo cards like this. There are a couple of infinite photo cards like this for Infinite F and Infinite H, and I did have a full Infinite F collection for their mini album, and then I sold it because I got out of collecting, and now I regret it because I do want all those photo cards back. Okay, I can sell this. As you can tell, I didn't touch my Infinite collection, didn't touch my SF9 collection. There are probably other photo cards and other binders that I should downsize, but... I like this one. Is this a pre-order benefit? Probably. These 2 album photo cards up here, I'm not too interested in either, but I think they're both damaged. So it's not like I'll be able to get a really high amount for that either. Therefore, I'm probably just going to keep them. Heart Cheeks I'm keeping. This one I bought from someone who definitely overpriced. I bought this photo card for $11, which is not worth it considering the album came with 2 photo cards. But maybe I can... Okay, so this is 1 page down. I can move all of these into this one, and I actually do have another... I have another album set coming in. I did join a Geo for their latest album. I don't even know what the album is called, but I did join a Geo for that. Sooner or later I'll move all of them into 1 page. But let's look at the photo cards that I do want to trade or sell. Downsizing is, I feel like, something that we all dramatize as collectors, but downsizing is actually pretty hard in my opinion. I feel like I've never actually downsized easily, not because of the emotional value I put onto everything, but just because things don't really sell. There are so many photo cards in the market recently, especially with the sudden jump in fan signs that international fans can get into, that a lot of people really are just left with extra photo cards that they don't even need or want, and therefore everyone's selling them for super low prices. So like, I know I'm pulling out all these photo cards with the hopes that I'll be able to sell or trade them away, but I don't have high hopes that I'll be able to get rid of everything before I move, even if I sell super low or even if I accept really inequivalent trades. Because I do have more photo cards here to downsize. So for CIX, I was collecting Hyunsuk before I went to their concert, and then I went to their concert and got absolutely wrecked by Seunghoon. So I didn't follow any of their solo schedules. I wasn't into any of CIX's like anything really. I didn't watch any of their variety or whatnot just because I was really only into them for their music. But then I saw them in person and I'm like, yo, their music really slaps, and I think I'm really into Sunghoon. I'm still not going to collect them fully. I do almost have their entire discography, but I'm not going to do pre-order benefits or fan signs for them. Okay, so here are all... Oh, so close to having an entire row. Here are all the photo cards that I'll be trying to downsize and try to sell or trade away within the next couple of months. I might even add a couple of Pentagon album photo cards or pre-order benefits into this because I just put away all of my Pentagon photo cards that I had lying around, and it is so many. I do not need that many cards, or I personally don't want that many cards. And I am running out of space, and that move is coming up. And I don't want to leave what I have with who I'm staying with now. But here is what I have. That's a.c.e, that's Astro, that's CIX, and a.t.s. And this will be a journey. Please wish me luck in terms of my downsizing. This honestly isn't too many photo cards. I was being a little dramatic, but please wish me luck in my downsizing and that I am able to find good buyers and willing traders. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you again next time.